Hey guys, how is it going today? I hope you all are having a fantastic day. This is a little late for a patch notes video, and for that I am sorry. But there is a lot of cool stuff in this patch, so let's get to it. They did not want to waste any time with this one. The first thing to talk about is the moon. The moon is not just an object painted on our little sky anymore. This is a full-fledged body in orbit that is able to be landed on now. There are also some cool little features about the moon that I will talk about a little later, but for now just know that you will have to plan ahead of time what buildings and resources you will need to create a successful colony on the moon. There will be some options for you if you do make a mistake, but these should be looked at as last resorts. Some things we do know about the moon so far is that it lacks oxygen, has plenty of rocks, and some underground resources. There is also no water. The lack of oxygen and water is obviously a problem for our nuggets, so we will have to take these sorts of things into account when we travel to the moon. The Cosmodrome got a full rework from what it was previously. You are now able to build rockets that will allow you to colonize other planets. For now, that is just the moon. Warning though, the rockets that you are able to create are specific to that planet. You will only be able to build one rocket per planet, so any resource you want or need afterwards will have to use the spaceport instead. More on this later. The Cosmodrome now has multiple categories for you to select from. You're able to pack the rocket full of specific resources or select the buildings you want to be able to create on the planet you wish, and then those resources for those buildings will be selected. You will also have the ability to load nuggets and Reiboks. Again, more on this later. The landed rocket on the planet will act like the epicenter does on Mother Planet. There are no photos of the actual Cosmodrome, so I'm not sure if they change what it looks like too. My guess is no, but I could be wrong. The spaceport is just that, a port for space. They've designed this building to allow you to move resources from a planet or transport it to another planet. You're able to choose any of your resources and set up trade routes to be completed. This will be the only way to deliver resources once you get to the moon. In my opinion, you should have this building built on Mother Planet first, and then have it be your first building on the moon. When setting up trade routes, you can currently set it to complete the route 1 to 10 times or infinitely. This will be very useful for resources like wood, which you might need on the moon. Each spaceport creates 4 transport vehicles that will go on these trade routes, so there is a reason to build multiple of these on one planet. It is now time to begin talking about some of the cool features of the moon. The first building to allow you to use these features is the Terraformer. As the name implies, this is a building that will create flora and grass on a barren planet. For right now, this is the moon. These buildings will need a constant supply of resources but will create flora within its operating radius. It's not exactly clear if this building will need to remain for the grass to stay, or if you can destroy it after the amount of flora that you want is created. Some more testing will be needed for this. Alright, so this building is quite literally your life support. The oxygen generator works somewhat like the terraformer, but there is a catch. If this building loses power, then the planet will slowly go back down to the previous oxygen level. In the case of the moon, that would be 0. In order to have permanent oxygen on the planet, you will need forests and lakes on the planet. So there is a way to produce oxygen another way, but this is the quickest and easiest way. But it is expensive. The next terraforming buildings, we have the Hydro Collider. And honestly, this building sounds pretty useful for me, even on Mother Planet. This building will allow you to both refill lakes and create lakes. It does consume a lot of power, but in the end, it is worth it to see those beautiful blue water holes. The cloud generator is like the humidifier in your bedroom, but for a planet. This building will create some luxuriously fluffy clouds for your planet and will also slowly solve the water problem like the Hydro Collider. It is strongly recommended to use this building if you only need a slight amount of water or long-term constant water. It is slow to replenish lakes, just like clouds on Mother Planet. If you need a quick solution, use the Hydro Collider. Alright, so this is one of the new things to the Universim that we really did not hear much about at all. It's the Reiboks. Not to get confused with box or robot, as it is both a box and a robot. Here is what the devs said about this little guy. In unlocking space travel, your nuggets also took some time to think about the best way to move their constructions to other planets or even across the same planet. This is how Reiboks was born. This little box with legs consists of highly transformable material and can inherit the functionality and shape of any building. Roblox sounds like it will be pretty easy to create. You will be able to order a Reiboks for your colonization rocket, or you will be able to convert an existing building into a Reiboks using the convert button on the building panel. You will also be able to use the Reiboks to reassemble your city. Gone are the days of destroying buildings and rebuilding. You want it moved? Just pack it up and move it. Spacesuits are back in the game. We have actually gotten a sneak peek at these in a mistake update that was later reverted, but they are back. But things work a little differently with oxygen on the moon. Your nuggets will have to constantly return to the colonization rocket to restore oxygen. Now, you will probably know this by now from some of the tips and tricks, but this is something that will absolutely destroy supply chains. This will mean that you will need to get oxygen on the planet ASAP to ensure a productive colony. Oxygen also has another impact. If your planet falls below a threshold, meteor showers will become a lot more frequent. It will be important to keep your atmosphere healthy and thick to ensure you don't have a constant stream of rocks flying at you. That's right. Who needs roads when you have flying cars? Flying cars will be fairly expensive, but worth it to get rid of that 2-hour traffic jam to work every day. These are extremely fast and efficient vehicles for your nuggets. It also makes me think that these might actually be the end of the Hyperloop. There is a brand new road type for the space age. These roads will give an increased speed to your nuggets' walking speed, and even though you have flying cars, it will still be useful for the nuggets that are not able to afford these crazy flying cars. Once you land on the moon, your nuggets will be using rope roads instead. They will move along holding the ropes to ensure they do not get lost. When you reach a point of civilization with this new colony, the ropes will be transformed into space-age roads. Because of the limited oxygen on the moon, your nuggets will first build domes for their housing. Once oxygen is established, your nuggets will slowly rebuild housing into space-age residential buildings. I do really like the look of these buildings, and I am excited to see them on the moon of my sky. These houses will be able to store more nuggets than ever before. These are some pretty cool looking buildings, and it will really make you feel like being in the future. Alright, so I'm going to read what they said verbatim, as I believe that what they said is both the best way to say it, and I don't want to stray away with potentially different wording. So according to the patch notes, this is the planet simulation system. A highly advanced simulation system was built for the space age. Since many planets will eventually be introduced, we wanted to allow players to explore those planets without worrying too much about other planets, as well as allowing interplanetary trading. The system that we built will do its best to simulate the current state of your planet based on how much time has passed. In other words, it will use all the reproduction rates that your planet has and create new nuggets. Each existing nuggets calculate produced resources, consumed resources by your civilization, so on. Creating a self-sustainable planet and leaving that planet will allow our simulation system to keep up with everything and continue simulating life on that planet. Who knows what you will find once you come back? Unfortunately, if you left your planet in distress, our simulation system will continue to simulate what would have happened to it based on the time passed. Alright guys, so I have good news and somewhat bad news for the planet simulation system. This is actually the system that I thought that they would go with, and I said this during one of my streams. The system will essentially work in the background and will go off of the numbers for that planet based off of when you leave that planet. So it will base the birth rates and death rates and resources resource rates per minute and then calculate that amount every minute. Now, this works fairly well for performance, but it has its flaws. Let's say that your population on the moon is 300 nuggets, and the birth rates are about 5 per minute, and the death rate is 0, as the population is still young and you really haven't had any deaths. The amount of food you are preparing is about 3 per minute, but you are supplying enough for the current population. Now, if you are gone for 30 minutes and you are on the mother planet, once you return to the moon, you will see a massive inflation of a population to 450 nuggets. 0 nuggets have died, but you only have 390 rations of food. So you are 60 rations short, and now once you are back, hunger begins to be an all-time high as your food production is not able to meet the demand. This is also not to mention if you leave when your death rate is even slightly higher than your birth rate, and I would strongly recommend every single player to continuously check in with your planets to make sure things are still running well and to recalculate the rates of change. In all honesty, as long as you play diligently and be aware of this, you should be fine. Just be careful of runaway populations and do not want to leave your planet and come back with 2,000 nuggets that you can't provide food for. Alright, there are a lot of new space age buildings, so I'm going to just kind of brush over them really quickly. Just know that they do the task that the previous version does, but they do it better and more efficiently, even if they might cost more resources. If you want to read what they say about them, which is not much, there will be a link in the description down below. Space age construction sites, space age cemetery, space age expedition camp, space age garage. One thing to note is that this is how you get flying cars. Space age bridge, space age water pump, space age reservoir, modern age battery, space age eatery, modern age warehouse, space age farm, and space age hospital. That was a massive patch, definitely the biggest one in the Universim history. There are a ton of cool buildings, and it is very cool to get the first experience of going to another planet, or in this case, another body, which is the moon. But it does act like a planet in this game, so what do you guys think? Do you think my reasoning for the planet system simulation is valid? Why or why not? Maybe sometime we can go into a deeper dive into it. Let me know as well what you guys think about the overall patch. To me, it looks really good and it looks really solid, and I'm really looking forward to exploring it and kind of seeing how it is and how it plays out myself. Of course, I haven't gotten to that point yet, so we'll kind of see how it goes. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, anything of the sorts, please leave them in the comments down below. If you are brand new to the channel and you guys like what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode.